You finally popped the most important question of your life. Will you marry me? Not me. This is a hypothetical situation. So when your partner enthusiastically agreed, your head started swimming, dreaming of the perfect life you two will share. And now that you're planning all the details for the big day, you need to ask yourself, who pays for the groom's ring? You knew it was your job to buy your fiance's ring, but no one ever talked about who is expected to pick up the bill for your badass band. Well, let's break down some of the most popular traditions on who's dropping the C note for the groom's ring. Way back in the day, before brides were active in the workforce, they didn't really have any income. And with the expectation that the bride would be a stay-at-home housewife, grooms would purchase their own wedding band if they wanted one at all. In fact, most married men in America didn't wear wedding bands until the 1940s. The trend first began around World War II, when soldiers chose to wear rings to remind them of their spouses while they were deployed. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did a pretty amazing video covering the history of wedding rings. You can see more about that by clicking the link in the comments. These rings were fairly basic gold or silver bands and were used to symbolize their fidelity. It was a keepsake that helped remind a guy of his love waiting at home. Aww. And in some circumstances, the bride of a soldier would receive financial assistance from parents or other loved ones to purchase the groom's ring, but it wasn't a common practice. Things have changed a lot over the last 80 years. Today, we agonize over which ring to purchase for our partner before proposing, and I bet you had nightmares of gold, platinum, silver, and diamonds for months. After waking up in a cold sweat one morning with visions of price tags dancing in your head, you finally made a decision and you chose the ring that you felt would be the ultimate proposal gift. Well, that's right. It's considered a gift. In the traditional sense, you purchase an engagement ring for your fiance as a gift. In return, your fiance then purchases your wedding band as a gift to you. This long-standing tradition can be traced way back when a bride's parents offered a dowry of sheep, pigs, and other glorious livestock as a gift for the groom, like 10 cows. Today, these old wedding traditions don't exist, meaning no sheep for you, which is kind of a bummer, really. But you may still get your wedding band as a gift. Just like wedding bands for men not being popular in the US until the 1940s, the same thing was happening in other cultures around the world. Wedding bands and engagement rings for women go back as far as the ancient Egyptians. A woman would wear a ring of grass or twig tied around her waist to symbolize loyalty. Later, wedding rings made of leather, bone, or ivory would be worn. The tradition of wedding or engagement rings for women would continue for centuries in nearly all cultures, but men's wedding bands did not become widely popular until after the trend began in America. The exception was the trendsetters in Romania. This is where it's customary for both husband and wife to wear silver rings after their 25th wedding anniversary. It's also the custom to gift a silver ring to their partner. Today, in most cultures, there are two popular practices. Either the groom purchases both wedding bands himself, or his fiancée purchases his wedding band and presents it as a gift. Today, wedding bands for married men are expected, but men aren't limited to basic, boring bands. Our designs for men are modern and reflect your amazing charm, wit, and personality. And if you haven't figured it out yet, man, we got so many rings. Boom, 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 boom. So if you don't know your charm, wit, and personality, we got you. So that's all super interesting, Archie, but who should buy the groom's band? Well, what I see happening most often is that couples tend to shop for their wedding bands together. They choose to purchase a matching set or a pair that complements each other aesthetically or has a similar design or materials. Now, don't forget the cardinal rule of wedding planning and check out this video for all those tips, but stick to your budget. As you start looking for rings, be sure to have your budget in mind. By talking about how much you want to lay out for your rings, you're building a foundation of communication which will help you throughout your marriage. That's from Ask Marissa. If one partner earns a lot more than the other, maybe decide to have the baller purchase the rings. Also, congratulations, by the way. But it's all up to you both. Couples may opt to purchase their own wedding band without consulting the other person at all. Whichever route you and your fiancé decide to take when buying your rings is likely to be the first of many important chats. Speaking of important chats, have you discussed each other's ring size? If you want to figure out how to get the perfect fit, be sure to check out my video here. And if you're still up in the air on which ring is right for you, I have a suggestion on a few rings right over here. Till next time, Archie out. Did you make it?